Good evening, guys. Welcome to a pre-Lords of the Night kind of thing. I had more to say than I know I'm going to be able to on Lords of the Night tonight, and Monkey in the Morning ran short, so I was like, what the hell? Let's do another stream and just have a chat about what's going on with the George Floyd situation. For anybody who missed it the other day, George Floyd yesterday was... Well, actually, I believe it was the day before. Yesterday is when it blew up. He was killed by some police officers in the middle of the street in Minneapolis, in full view of a crowd and with somebody recording it. It was like they were at a concert or something. And this cop leans on, puts his knee on George Floyd. George Floyd is laying on the ground, on his belly, with his hands cupped behind his back. And this cop puts his knee into his neck for at least 7.5 minutes. That's how long it lasts in the video that we have. But that video, again, only encompasses 7.5 minutes worth. We don't see when the cop first puts his knee on him. And then today, well, let's stop there for a second, because a lot of people, way too many, were like, well, I need to know the rest of the story. I'm waiting for the full story, you guys. And I don't mean to laugh, but that's so ridiculous. Okay, let's say George Floyd did something horrendous, something really, really horrible. There's absolutely no reason, zero, zilch, none, to put your knee on somebody's neck for 7.5 minutes against the asphalt. None. But there's people out there, I need to know what else happened before I can make up my mind on this. Well, some new video emerged from I believe it was a restaurant in the area, who happened to catch the first part of this, where they actually get George out of his car and handcuff him, and then eventually take him over to where they execute him. Where he dies. Now, there is still part of it missing, because in this video, we do see the cops show up. Something's happening in George's car. There's two other people in it who get out. And then we see George pulled out of the car and handcuffed and then brought over and sat against a wall right underneath where this camera was. And then they pick him back up, and he is resistant. There's people, I believe it was even the mayor of Minneapolis, like, this shows no resistance. That's not true. There is resistance. It is minimal resistance. It's like a child who got caught doing something wrong and doesn't want to go where they know they have to go. You know, like, I don't want to go to timeout or whatever it is, however you punish your children. But I mean, like, he was slow walking a little bit, and he was not going exactly. And as he's going over to the car that they killed him by, you see him fall to the ground, and it's hard to tell whether he did that, whether he stumbled legitimately, if he was tripped, what the hell happened there. So I'm not making a judgment on that. But what you do see is a man who is in no way posing any kind of threat that should result in you kneeling on his neck for 7.5 minutes. I can't think of a man who's doing that, honestly. I don't understand how you can look at that and say anything other than, yeah, they killed this man. They murdered him in cold blood in front of everybody. There's times during the original 10-minute video that we saw where the crowd's going, he's bleeding from his nose. By the way, that's not a good thing if you're choking somebody. It's not a good thing anyway. Bloody nose means there's something wrong, but sometimes it's minor, and sometimes it's brain hemorrhaging, you fuck nuts. But then they start saying, check his pulse. The cop who's kneeling on him can't be bothered to just reach down and check the guy's pulse. It's like another at least 2 minutes after they first start saying, check his pulse, that the ambulance finally shows up and checks his pulse. Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing. But so the rest of the stories come out. We've seen what happened, and there's still people who want to know. I want to know the rest of the story. And one of the people I'm arguing with, they want to know the autopsy results. Whether this was a direct or an indirect action that led to George's death, because that matters. Look, he's dead because that cop was on his neck for 7.5 minutes. Anybody, I don't care how healthy you are. I do not care how fucking healthy you are. Let a man of that size on your fucking neck with his knee for 7.5 minutes and you're going to if you make it out alive, you're going to be severely brain damaged. That is a chokehold. It's what it is. It's meant to choke them, and it is not meant to be done for that long if you have to use it at all. And apparently in this precinct, in this police department, they're not supposed to do that at all. And I'm still failing to see what the fuck the point was. And the more I look at it, the more it just comes out, especially with that little bit of resistance. The more I look at it, the more it looks like it was punishment. Like this was a cop saying, I am your daddy. Take it. I mean, the callousness, it couldn't even be bothered to reach down and check the man's pulse. He's right there. I mean, he's on his neck. Just reach the fuck down, man. Your arm is literally dangling above it. Anyhow. Minneapolis cops don't have a very good reputation. You know, Sir Anime Team, this is something that I'm trying to get across to people, because there's a lot of people who think this has a racist element. I can't find one. And we'll touch on that in just a minute. How you doing, Jack?
Not bad. How you doing?
Annoyed, you know, the usual.
Yeah, good to know.
Didn't sleep worth a damn. I'm in severe pain and got onto Twitter and got annoyed immediately for several reasons. We're talking about exactly what happened with George here. Now, for the people who are out there, I want to address what Sir Adamantine said there about the cops not having a good reputation. There are good cops out there. But you know what else there are, Jack?
Bad cops.
Bad cops. They exist. I haven't seen anything in this, nothing in this, that actually suggests racism. The closest you come is a bullshit meme that's been going around where they link this guy to another man and a hat that says "Make White Great Again." And they're like, it's that cop, even though it's not that cop. So that's as close as you get to actually being race. Otherwise, it's just, okay, white cop, black guy. That's it. If you want to say racism, I mean, that's on you. I see nothing racist about it. That does not mean that this couldn't have been a bad fucking cop. Jack, I talk often about people misusing phrases and words because it drives me insane.
Yeah.
You know when it really drives me insane, especially in this case? Innocent until proven guilty. When we say that, there's a good reason for that. Innocent until proven guilty. In this case, we have literal video evidence that we've all seen. Now, that doesn't mean he's not that he won't get off in a court of law, but that motherfucker's guilty. I'm sorry, I've seen it, and I've asked several people. Anybody, give me the reason to sit on a man's neck like that for 7.5 minutes. Anyone?
There's no reason.
No.
I got a buddy who's an old retired cop. I've gotten to watch the footage because he hadn't seen it yet. And he's like, we would never do that. You don't do that. You kill someone doing that. I said, they did kill him. And he's like, I know. That's my point.
Right, yeah.
That's either very poor training or that guy got overzealous. And it's because he's a shitty cop.
Yep. This was, that's not restraint. That's a death sentence is what that was. Sir Adamantine, the video was infuriating, literally watching an execution. I could not agree with you more. And the more I think about it, and the more I argue with people, the madder I get.
Yeah.
Because I do understand there are times when we have to go, yeah, we need to wait to see what happened. Michael Brown was a great case of that. You know why? Yeah. We didn't have fucking video evidence. We literally have video evidence of what this man did. There is no excuse for it. It cost this man his life. The end.
Yeah.
What more could there be?
Well, what's frustrating is there's a good chance that these guys, having been terminated, the union will get them hired back in and they'll get back pay.
Yeah. But I think there's going to be enough pressure on the DA to file charge. I don't know why charges haven't been filed already. How in the fuck?
I don't either. That is kneeling on someone's neck or head is completely illegal in every state. No cop could do that unless it's a fight for their lives. Like you you got their gun or something, then they could probably get away with it, but it's still not a legal restraint.
I absolutely believe in innocent until proven guilty. I believe in wait and see, but we've seen. The fuck more do you need to see?
Yeah, I am real curious why people are so zealously defending a lot of this, because it's a bad look. And if there's more to come out, I would be shocked, because right now this doesn't look like anything warranted what they did.
Danger says Monk finished the show really early last night. Are you okay, man? No, I was angry. I was very angry, and instead of taking it out on the chat, who it wasn't their fault, instead of taking it out on everybody, I decided to call it a night. That's all it was. Sometimes Monkey knows to just shut his fucking mouth, believe it or not.
What's that like?
I know it's weird, right? No, there's an anger in me for this because of what you're talking about there, Jack. The bad look here. Like I said, there are times that it makes sense. There's a lot of times that wait and see. We've waited and saw, and it's like, oh yeah, that's completely different than what it looked like. We have 10 minutes of video here with an additional 2 minutes. It was added from this. Maybe it's 4 minutes. I can't remember the length. No, 6 minutes. I'm sorry, 6 minutes. It was released from this restaurant or whatever it is that TMZ put out, and I have it tweeted out there, guys, if you want to see it. And the extra video didn't make it any better. It didn't make it any better. Satsu convinced me with seriously what additional information will make this okay, and I couldn't think of anything. Yeah, I that was what it was for me. Like, there's no reason, none. I mean, the worst that he tried to do, we're restraining him. He tried to move his neck so he could breathe. That's it. And then you just see him kind of die. And once again, the police, he died later. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. We saw it right there. We saw him die on the ground in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Tall person, thank you. We make a video on this monkey. Consider this my video on it. Because after this is going to be one of those situations where I talk about it only cursory. Is that how you say? Is that the word?
Yeah.
Very, very minimally for those who were like, what the fuck word did monkey just try to use? Die for counterfeiting, man, that sucks. Yeah, the police were called reportedly because a business in the area was slipped a fake $10 bill by Mr. Floyd. And that's what they were going to arrest him for. Yeah.
We don't even know if that's real or not yet from the sound of it. Real quick, thank you, tall person, for the donation. Here, some money I got for helping the elderly. Have a nice day. Thank you.
I am so annoyed at the people who are treating this as a black and white issue as well. And this goes for both sides of the races here. This is not a fucking race war.
Yeah, I don't think it's got anything to do with race. It has to do with overzealous policing. The problem is that a lot of cops nowadays have the mentality of us versus them, because they've got this officer safety thing in mind. Well, we're going home. That means that you might not be, because if you're opposed to them in any respect, they escalate quicker. And that is incredibly dangerous mentality, as you may have seen.
Pete on the Streamlabs, thank you for the donation with no message. That is incredibly generous of you, and I can't thank you enough for that. Yeah, bill time's coming up. I appreciate that. Guys, don't forget we are brought to you by you. If you enjoy what you're seeing, please hit the like button. Please share, and if you can, throw some money at Jack there.
Now, somebody asked us a few times in chat what Trump could do about this. Well, the Department of Justice can see if there was a racial angle, and they can see if this was a civil rights violation on a federal level, because it is government interfering with a citizen. So if there's a civil rights violation, racial or not, because there are other civil rights violations, they can actually take him up on federal charges. Whereas it's a way to bypass the locals in a lot of ways that stems out of a lot of the Jim Crow laws, because they were covering for their own down there. So they had to work in some federal legislation to go after the corrupt.
Chicago Mike, thank you. Sitting at work from home with Monkey and Jack streaming. Here's some money. We appreciate it. Well, I appreciate it. Jack doesn't get any of that.
No.
Sorry, Jack.
No worries. It is what it is.
we appreciate you watching. How about that?
Yeah.
There is talk that Trump has asked the DOJ to look into this. But again, I think that would actually be a disservice to Mr. Floyd. This is a simple justice matter.
Yeah.
I don't know if this cop is racist. I have no fucking idea. I don't know him from Adam.
Yeah.
I don't see anything in that. Right. I don't see anything in that video that says racism to me. You know what I do see in that video, or in those two videos? I see somebody exerting his authority because he can. Somebody who's Jack, you have any siblings?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you the older, younger brother?
I am the younger.
Your older brother ever like do something to you just because you could, and if you fought back, it made it worse?
Yeah.
As I watched the original video, I could not help but get the sense that this cop was staying there longer, refusing to check on this guy. That a lot of that was fed on by the fact that crowd was around.
Yeah, it's a power and control thing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
and it only makes... Go ahead.
Unfortunately, it's a mindset of... I know I'm going to get shit for this, but it's a militaristic mindset of controlling your environment. And I'm not talking U.S. military specifically. I mean, in a general sense.
Sure.
Of this is the type of training that you use in a war. And you can't use that with a civilian population from a civilian agency, which is what the police are supposed to be. They're not military. And even the military doesn't put their knees on your neck and head. They put them on your back to detain you. That's how you hold someone down. This guy, I think, got overzealous with his power, but he was in that mindset of, I'm in charge, you will do what I say, and he's lingering to prove a point, not just to the person he's got down, but everybody around him, that he's in charge. He's the big man.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like I said, they started chanting for him to somebody, any cop, please check this guy's pulse at least 2 minutes before the paramedics showed up and did it. And nobody did. Nobody even bothered. You're telling me that this cop who is sitting on a man's neck in a chokehold, he knew what this was. This is something he learned. And if he learned it, he learned what it does. He had to know doing that for too long can cause, if not death, serious fucking damage.
Yeah. One of the defenses he might use, which is not going to work in my opinion, is that when your adrenaline is going, it's hard to gauge time. Because you get in a flight mode.
Sure.
You don't know how much time is passing. And sometimes you get tunnel vision. We call these, my friends call these guys Hulk hands, because they're focused on one task. They will destroy everything in their way to get to that one task.
And you know what? I see what you mean there. And you know what? I could even buy that as an excuse until people start yelling, check his pulse, and he flat out refuses.
Unfortunately,
there is one part where he threatens to spray mace at the crowd.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Real quick, let me get this.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rudicus Prime. These same people claiming racism in this event are the same ones who use the bigotry of low expectation when it comes to voter ID. Some of them, yes. Anyway, you were saying there, Jay. He went.
The problem is, I've been around enough situations where somebody got restrained that people will say they can't breathe just to get out of the hold and then try and fight back.
Sure.
So when the crowd is saying that, a lot of times that's been done to distract the cop.
And that's fair enough, but you already have him on his belly in cuffs.
Yeah, he was already handcuffed, which means he shouldn't have been on him at all. He should have been getting him in a cruiser. The fact that he was on him when he was in cuffs is a civil rights violation in itself. I'm pretty sure in almost every state. So I'm pretty sure this cop opened himself up to a lot of civil action, because generally they have a lot of immunity from like accidents and stuff like that if you get hurt when you're fighting with them. But because the guy was already in cuffs and he's doing that, that's a big no-no. So he may have shot himself in the foot on that front too.
Here's the thing. This has been one of my points all along is I don't understand the need to restrain a man who's in cuffs on his belly. At that point, guys, try this sometime. Have somebody tether your hands behind your back on your belly, and just try to stand up. Try to turn yourself to where you can get to standing up.
Yeah, it's not easy. It can be done, but there was no excuse not to have already had this guy in the car.
It can be done, but when you got 4 cops standing around who are intent on keeping you down, you're not getting up. The worst you can do is try to roll away.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my, I have some Streamlabs backed up here.
Go ahead and get it.
Thank you very much, Red Chaos Tree, for the very generous donation. Jack gets none of this money. None of it! Okay. And next is Evolved Potato. Thank you. Here's some money I took from the old guy when I kicked his cane out from under him. Jesus, Evolved.
Wow.
Dark. And thank you, Pig Hollow. Monkey gets none. Also, this has pissed off a lot of cops. Those assholes are going to jail and will be Epstein within 7 months. Mark my words. Yeah, because the good cops should be pissed about this.
Mm-hmm.
They absolutely should be. It makes all the cops look bad. And there are good people out there trying to do the right thing, trying to enforce laws and keep people safe. And it makes all of them look bad. This is a tarnish on every badge out there.
Real quick, RBA Dar, thank you. Monkey, glad you explained the abrupt end to Monkey in the Morning, and you are right. Thank you for the donation and the words. Look, I will sit and argue with the audience a lot, but usually when I'm doing it, I'm not angry. I disagree with. I was angry this morning, and it wasn't at the audience. It was at what I was saying, all over Twitter. Because again, I want to get to the race aspect of it, Jack.
Okay.
Because this is dumb as shit. Because we have seen the reemergence of Black Lives Matter, which led to the reemergence of All Lives Matter. And you know what? Shut the fuck up. You guys are doing this man a disservice. You really are.
Yeah. Well, I think it's more of a poverty issue than a race issue. Because if you're used to strolling into a situation where there's a bunch of dumb poor people that don't know their rights, and you start throwing your weight around, you get used to that. I would be more inclined to say poverty had more of an impact in this than race did. But that's just me. I don't think race had anything to do with this.
Neither do I. I think we are far too quick to look at black man, white man, no matter what the situation is, and like race. No, that's not necessarily it at all. It could just be cop criminal, and a lot of cops have a bad impression of criminals for, actually good reason, Jack.
Yeah, well, there's that
criminals.
Yeah,
that's what I saw here. I saw a power dynamic, not a white-black thing.
No, I totally agree with you. Thank you, Okie Native. Please never tell me what you do with the Trini Power Ranger card. That's fine. I won't. That'll be my secret with the video camera.
In chat, I believe are you a troll or are you just a jackass? If dude robbed you, I bet you wouldn't be crying for him. If a dude robbed me, I wouldn't want him to die for it. What are you, from the middle fucking ages? Are you Muslim?
Depends if he took my Trini Power Ranger card.
Yeah, this man didn't deserve to die for a $10 fake note.
Yeah, that's just it. It went way out of control.
You know the weird part, real quick, before we move on. I know people who have gotten in trouble for have had the cops called on them for fake bills, and it turned out, for anybody who's had to check money before, you run a marker across it. Well, it's a special marker that turns a special color. It turns yellow if it's a fake bill. Should be black. This moron, or the other way around, I can't remember. This moron that was working at this one store was using a Sharpie and called the police on somebody for passing a fake bill.
Yeah. At one of the jobs I worked a long time ago, there was a gas station attendant that would call the cops whenever his drawer was short, and he'd just accuse whoever was the last person there of not paying.
Nice.
And they finally busted him when the guy presented a receipt on the last one.
Thank you.
So he filed a complaint and had him arrested.
Bubba Hotep says black is fake, yellow is real. There it is. Yeah, and they were using a black marker. Because I remember that story. It's like, are you kidding? You could have got somebody in some serious trouble.
Right?
But yeah, that's what it turned out to be. And nothing happened to the person. But
See,
anyhow.
that's the worst part. I got a couple more here. Sorry. Thank you, Chicago Mike. At work, if I don't input these numbers, doesn't make much of a difference. Thank you. Thank you, Baby Doll 76 for the generous donation. Good afternoon, Jack and not Jack. Good afternoon to you too.
Good afternoon.
And thank you, RVA Dar. Would have been more, but I bought comic books. I appreciate every donation, big or small. Thank you.
And yes, Maggot Man there, he's trolling. Leave him be. The other thing we do need to talk about is this picture that was going around that purports to show the cop who was on George's neck wearing a Make Whites Great Again. Make Whites Great Again was trending on Twitter.
Does he work for Clorox?
No, it turns out the guy who's actually in that picture is a troll. He's a troll who he went to prison for wire fraud, and while he was in jail for wire fraud, he filed so many lawsuits that Guinness declared him the most litigious guy of all time, or at least of now,
Holy shit.
Yeah. They claimed that he had filed 5,500 suits, and he says he'd only filed like 4,200, so he sued him. That's a true story. Well, when he gets out, he decides he's a troll, and he likes to troll things. And in this instance, he actually trolled. This wasn't put up just for this. Somebody went and found it, and he has a point to his trolling, and the point to his trolling is that online mobs jump on shit without even paying attention to what it was, what's really going on. In this case, he kind of had a point because there were a whole lot of people really pissed off that Make White Great Again was trending without paying any attention to why it was trending. For those of you who've seen the picture, that's not him. It's also a doctored picture to begin with, but that's neither here nor there. This was trending. And so we have the starts of a race war here, Jack, over something that's probably not racist at all.
Yeah, well, race riots happen when people gin up anger and resentment over stuff that's typically not even racially motivated. So
then I saw another moron. I forget his name. He had tweeted out footage because there was a small riot at the police station there yesterday, where cops actually had to come in with flash grenades and clear out the parking lot because these people were destroying cop cars.
Yeah, not surprised. And
this shitbag tweeted out, 4 cops were immediately fired to appease these people. Like, no. It was done because we all saw the video. Those people are shitbags and have nothing to do with those 4 guys needing to be fired.
Yeah. The problem is that, like Texas Red just said, good cops across the country are going to pay for this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the wrong way to go about this. Just because there's one bad apple doesn't mean everybody's a bad apple. And we do need the police, as much as you may not like them. We do need them to maintain civilization.
I do want to correct something that Red said there. They're paying the price for the stupidity of this one asshole. These 4 assholes. Because as was pointed out, Prospero said this earlier, and I meant to get it then. But it is sad. You have the one fat Asian one. Seriously, dude, why is your shirt so tight? Keeping the crowd back. The other 2 never came over and helped either. None of them went, hey, dude, that's a lot. It's time. Okay, you haven't realized what time it is, but we've been here a little while. That crowd's actually had a chance to get big. Get up off his neck, man. None of them did anything.
Yeah. They failed in their duty on that for sure. Their
Yes.
accessories. I don't think they should get as much time or punishment as the guy that actually did it, but they definitely needed to lose their jobs for that.
I agree. We do, and I don't know if Minnesota's one of the states, but a lot of states do have the laws, about if your friend breaks the law, well, you're there with him and you're as culpable. And if they do have that, then yeah, they're all going to get it up on. I don't know what charge. I don't know if you can say first degree murder, which in most cases is premeditated murder. I don't know that he wanted to kill the guy.
No, but because the guy was already in custody by being handcuffed, he has a duty of care there. So it could be reckless or it could be manslaughter. Probably be manslaughter they go after him for. They'll go for like a murder one with the option of going manslaughter. I'm guessing that's what the prosecution would do, but I don't know. We're a little ways out from that, but I'm guessing manslaughter.
Now, you'll still hear me use the word murder because these people murdered him right in front of us. But murder does have a legal definition as well. So if you're going by that, yeah, this is probably manslaughter.
Yeah, we're going with the colloquial definition.
Fucking murdered this guy right in front of us.
Yeah. I think a lot of this comes down to they're hiring bad candidates to be cops these days because it's not just that we're seeing it more thanks to cell phone cameras. I think they have terrible training and they're hiring people that should not be cops. And I don't know why. Maybe that's all they can get. I don't know. I don't believe that. But I think a lot of this is because of bad training and they're hiring wrong candidates.
In chat, several people are asking, what kind of thing could it be? Negligent homicide? Is there a murder two? Here's the thing. Some states have murder two. I believe there's even a couple that have murder three, and then you have manslaughter two. It depends on the state, and I don't know Minnesota's laws. I know they murdered that motherfucker.
Yeah, in some places they call it negligent homicide, but it's mostly called manslaughter because that's usually rounded in there. So yeah, you're right.
From a journalism point of view, keep in mind this still needs to be described as alleged crime. Just saying, be careful how you describe it. No,
this is an opinion show.
I don't say alleged when I watch a man murder a man in the street in front of a crowd of people with a fucking cell phone trained on him. Yeah,
technically we're more opinion based, so they can't really do much about that.
Bring it. Let that cop sue me for saying he's a murderer instead of saying he's an alleged murderer.
Oh, I'd love to hear the discovery phase of that trial.
Yeah. Let's go to that fucking court case. I'm happy to do that. I'll start a GoFundMe right now for my legal fees. Fuck that guy. This is, Jack, this is what I was talking about because we do have this notion of innocent until proven guilty. And I believe in that. I really do. But in our court system, it's beyond a reasonable doubt, not beyond any doubt. And there's a lot of people, depending on the case, they have a lot of whatabouts. It could be, guys, it could be that there was an alien on a roof with a ray gun pointed at that cop that froze him in place that whole 7 minutes so he couldn't move. So allegedly, he's not a murderer. There's a video. It's like when somebody breaks into a convenience store, you have him on, he's alleged. Yes, he is alleged. But when it goes to trial, it should be open and shut because there's fucking video of him doing it. Video has changed things a lot, Jack. And you know what? Sometimes video can be wrong. Absolutely. But in this case, I'm fairly certain. We have badge numbers. We have their faces. We have 10 minutes of him on this motherfucker's neck. Sorry, 7.5. Because the end of the video is them flopping his dead ass body into the ambulance and still not even pretending to give a fuck about him. No resuscitation, nothing. It's probably because the guy in the ambulance guy's like, I'm not touching his fucking neck when you were just on it like that. It's probably fucking broken. Anyhow.
What's really bad is this is a terrible time for this to happen because there's already anger and resentment at the cops for all these nonsensical lockdown bullshit.
Oh, sure.
And you're throwing gasoline on the fire by killing a guy. Fucking idiots.
Andrew Joyner, thank you. Point of note, British cops get 2 years of training. American cops get 6 months as far as I know. Well, I don't know if it's a training problem. I don't know if you could train out what this man did. Do you think if this guy had 6 months more training or a year and a half more training, he would have went, I shouldn't be squashing this man's neck like this?
Maybe, probably not, but an additional time of training would definitely have helped his superiors filter him out.
Now that's fair.
He would have had more oversight, and that's one thing that would definitely have helped.
Thank you, John Miller, for rantings. Well, let me say the M word, legal fund later. For ranting monkeys, legal fund later. Or later legal fund. I appreciate that. No, I refuse to. When I see a man fucking murder somebody in the street, I refuse to say alleged. Because I'm not retarded. I understand what you're getting at with the journalism thing there, but I'm not saying alleged when I watched it happen. And it's not like you have to rely on my eyewitness account. We can go back and review the video. You know what I mean?
Well, a lot of people, I think, saying that aren't American nationals. So
well, here in America,
it gives us a broad leeway for what we can and can't say about things like that.
Well, in America, you're supposed to say they've been accused of it or allegedly too, so you don't open yourself up to libel. But fuck them.
The commentary.
What that man did was murder. I saw it. It's on video, for fuck's sake. There was a crowd chanting at him. You're killing him. Oh, man. Anyhow. Yeah, I had to get some stuff off my chest there, Jack, because there's still people telling me that they're waiting for the rest of the story. And I'm still waiting for the person to explain to me what rest of the story is going to make this okay. And for anybody out there who, kids, like I said, there's one guy who's arguing with me that he's waiting for the autopsy to see if this was direct or indirect. And here's what I say to you, to anybody in that same boat. Like, I want to see if it was the autopsy, if he had a heart condition and this just set it off. So therefore it's really the heart condition's problem. All right. Are you willing to go get a full medical exam to make sure you're perfectly healthy? And then let somebody of that same size put their knee on your neck while you lay bound on asphalt for 7.5 minutes? Because I bet you're not. Because I bet common sense would kick in and go, no, that'll kill me. So stop it. Nut says it was COVID.
Yeah.
They did a nose swab. He didn't kill him. It was COVID. He had COVID, you guys. It made it hard for him to breathe. Oh, God. I could see that happening. It's the sad part. I could see the medical examiner going, he did have COVID. We have to call it a COVID case. Oh, so Jack, how you been, man?
Busy.
Everything just went out on my computer. Am I still here? Okay.
Yeah.
Before I started, yeah, you're still here. My mic kept kicking me out over and over again. I think I fixed whatever the fucking problem was, but apparently it's new mic again time. I haven't damaged this one at all. I don't know what the problem is. It's upsetting me, Jack. Tackle him. He's got COVID. I did like, if you watch, as the cops first show up, they all have their masks fully in place. And then as they talk to him each time, they take their fucking masks off. Like, I feel like you're using the mask wrong. If you're in your car by yourself, you don't need the mask. It's when you get out to talk to other people, that's when you need it. Thank you, Sir Adamantine. Headline from the Hill just in. Trump calls on Justice Department FBI to expedite investigation into George Floyd death. Justice will be served. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why the Minneapolis DA hasn't filed charges against these guys.
Same reason they didn't file charges on that idiot in Georgia. They all know each other. They cover their own backs. If
you go back to the case we talked about, you weren't here for it, but Jack, there was a very similar case that happened in 2011. It was a white guy who got the ever-loving shit kicked out of him, and a cop did this exact same thing to him, all caught on tape. It took a month for the cops to be arrested, and then they were eventually found not guilty because of the autopsy. The autopsy decided the guy had died of other reasons besides this guy leaning on his fucking neck like that. You know why Trump got the DOJ involved? Because he's a racist. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad the president's asking for that, but the simple truth of the matter is the justice here belongs in the state.
Yeah.
I mean, they can go look at it, but you have to prove, like you said, it's usually a civil rights thing that happens that has to get them involved. That's why, isn't that why they decided they weren't getting involved in Brown?
Yeah, because there wasn't anything to say this was a racial thing.
Yeah.
Now they'll dig through this cop's personal history, and if he's got some even remotely racist shit out there, then it'll probably get found. Maybe then they'd charge him. But I think this is just to kind of spur the state into doing something, because they don't want the DOJ nosing around in all their personnel files, because they'll eventually find somebody that's an idiot.
Yep. Nico says more protests happening in Minneapolis. Yeah, they're going to happen until these guys are arrested, probably a little bit after that. And then depending on what happens with the trial, you'll probably see more. I mean, that part's not, that's not, what's the word I'm looking for? Unpredictable. That's easily predictable that riots and stuff are going to happen from this. I mean, this was such a clear-cut case here.
Yeah.
And for the police, their original statement on it, I don't want to say it was a lie, but it was certainly the most generous way of describing what happened. A man died while police were restraining him, something to that effect. I'm like, well, technically true. And then the video came out and they're like, yeah, we're gonna fire these guys.
Yeah.
And good on you for firing, but how about arrest them?
Yeah, no shit. They got plenty of evidence to do it, so I don't know what they're waiting on. Thank you, Okie Native. Fun for Jack to take over once Monkey gets sad during his lawsuit. I mean, he gets COVID. Yes, that sounds plausible.
Oh, please sue me, you murderous fuck. I would love to have that. That would be fun. Like, so let's dig through your whole life, you shitbag of a person. And again, to be honest, I don't think he wanted to kill him. I got to be honest with you. I don't think he did.
I don't think he did either, but
I think he wanted to punish him.
Yeah, and he was trying to teach him a lesson, and probably everybody else.
Yep. And ego or whatever kept him from going, all right, that's enough.
Yeah. Well, it was probably a little bit of how dare you fight with me kind of thing.
Yeah.
How dare you challenge my authority.
Plus, you had that one, the one guy that you hear throughout the whole video. He's not the guy actually taking the video. You see him in the video occasionally telling the cop, get off him. You're going to kill him. And talking about how he had been through part of the police training or had been around the police when they were training. I forget which it was. He's like, I know what you're doing here. This is wrong. You can't do this. And somebody who's there to prove respect my authority, that's just going to egg him on. That's not excusing his behavior at all. That's pointing out how shitty his behavior was. That's not the kind of person you want as a cop right there.
Yeah.
That's a little too much ego. To the point it got a man killed.
Yeah. Thank you, Grizz. Here's something for your comic fund. Speaking of comics, I'm almost done with part 2 of my Friday the 13th the game comic. Looking forward to your review of both parts. Hope you like them. Have a great day. Thanks, Grizz. I'll definitely check them out. Does Grizz have a wrench? So we could drop a link to that?
I think so. If not, I can definitely give him one. Where are we at here? There was something I wanted. Dangerous Spaces asked maybe the roids. Nothing about that guy suggests he was on roids to me. He's not like overly big or anything. He looks kind of like a pudgy, stereotypy cop.
So all the roids were injected into Dunkin' Donuts.
Yes. No, I just think straight up ego.
Yeah, I'm worried this is warm body syndrome, where they just hired randos. Because apparently somebody said in chat, this guy's been on the force for like 19 years.
Yeah, he's been there a while. Yeah. His younger little Asian partner, I believe, is got less time in. Seriously, it still bothers me that man's uniform fit him the way it did. Did you see the little Asian guy who was doing crowd control?
Yeah, they only go up to like 4 or 5x, dude.
It looked like if he breathed out too hard, if he took a deep breath in honor of George there, his buttons would have popped. Too many cops are basically power-hungry people. I don't want to say too many. There's a lot of bad cops, but there's a lot of good cops. Seriously, there's a lot of good cops who they go out there and they do their job, and it's a dangerous job. I have a lot of respect for police. I don't have respect for an asshole, no matter what he's wearing.
Yeah,
and that dude's an asshole. And to say that there's a lot of police there's a lot of people like that. There's a lot of just bad people, and they're going to get into any kind of employment you can think of. The problem is maybe we do need a better weeding system, and I don't know how to design one. But you're talking about putting people in the authority or in the position of having the authority to take a life. Not in this manner ever, but you are talking about putting them in the position of taking a life in a highly stressful environment. So we do need to do the best we can to weed out, shit bags. But the good cops need to call out the renegades. Well, somebody mentioned that on the stream this morning, that if they were a cop, they would be afraid to rat on the bad cops. And I can see that, but maybe I'm just too so what I'm looking for here. I don't want to say I have too much integrity. It's not that. I'm just not able to sit back and watch bad happen. Yeah. Joe Phelps, thank you. The biggest problem is the stigma of bad cops on the media that overshadowed the good ones. Yeah. There's the problem is the only time you see cops in the news, them specifically, is when it's somebody who's done bad. There are thousands, hundreds of thousands of millions of cop interactions a month that it's just the cop doing his job. Everybody goes their separate ways. When it's over, no problems whatsoever. And you don't hear about those because they're mundane. They're the regular. News is the exception. That's what news is. It's the exceptional story. And this is an exceptional story. Unfortunately, these 4 cops were shitbags, and they landed on George that day. Wasn't it Minnesota where that Aussie woman was shot by a cop? I don't know.
Yeah, that was that Somali cop that reached over in front of his partner and blew her away.
Oh, yeah. I do remember that.
He got like 12 and a half years for it.
Yeah, wasn't she the one that called the cops?
Yeah, she thought somebody was being raped, and they just rolled up. She tapped the back of the cruiser to let him know that she was there, and when she walked up by the window, he blew her away. Not even a hesitation. That took way too long to get justice.
Yeah, to protect his partner, he reached across him and fired a weapon. Yeah, that makes tons of sense. Yeah, I remember that case. Yeah, that one just got justice. 2 months ago, maybe?
It wasn't that long ago. Yeah, it was super recent.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, bad cops exist because bad people exist, and yeah, maybe we do need a 2-year training program that does something to weed these guys out. But I don't know if even that would help. Maybe this guy spent the first 19 years of his life being the greatest cop ever, and for some reason he had a bad day that day, and he's like, "Fuck it, I'm not taking any more shit from anybody."
See, I don't buy that because there's most people that will do something like this have given warning signs. I would love to read his personnel file. I bet he's got a ton of complaints about actual problems that he's done, and he's probably been protected the whole time.
We're going to see those. Freedom of Information Act requests are going to be coming. Those are public documents, huh?
Yeah. We need better psyche evals too.
Yeah, we also do need to realize that just because that there are bad cops, that doesn't mean they're racist. And just because there's bad cops doesn't mean there's not good ones.
Yeah.
And for the love of fuck, please stop telling me you're waiting for the rest of the story. There is no rest of this story. The rest of this story is George Floyd ran into bad cops that day and it cost him his life. That's the story. Start to finish. Anyway, Jack. Ranting Monkey has had a history of reprimands. Me or him? I've never been reprimanded. Not on my permanent record. And I'm not the kind of guy you want with a gun. Not in a authority action like that. My ego's way too big. You know, and I guess that's why I get that feeling when I watch this, Jack. Because if you watch the video from the restaurant, there is a little bit of resistance. It's not much. And there is one part where it looks like maybe he put himself on the ground as they get to the other car and the cops have to pick him back up.
Yeah, and that happens all the time.
Sure, but I mean, you do have that level of resistance, and like, all right, I could see somebody like twisting his arm a little bit to be like, "Stop it, dick," and then it just went way too far.
Yeah.
I don't know. Either way, he's dead. They belong in jail, in my opinion. No, not in my opinion. And if justice is to be served, they belong in jail. If you're heartless, that badge deserves to be shoved up the cop's ass so it shoots out his mouth. Fuck him. A bad day doesn't justify shit. Chemo, I wasn't saying that's what happened. I was saying it's possible that happened. The problem is if you get to that point, that's when you stop your stream, Jack.
Yeah.
When you turn it off and say, fuck it, I'm going to bed. You don't stay out on the beat. Anyhow.
We'll probably see more of this in the near future when the body cam footage all gets released.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. Were they wearing body cams?
I bet there were at least one or two of them were.
Bad cops get off because the wrong charges are filed. I wouldn't be shocked if that's true.
Yeah, sometimes that's. I think that's the DA's purposely looking the other way. Like, oh, we filed the wrong charges. Whoops-a-daisy.
Midnight in Exile says, I'm certain we're being lied to about this just like every other time. Well, who are you going to believe? You or your lying eyes? I mean, what are you being lied to about a man being on a man's neck for 7.5 minutes on video?
Look, Monkey, you didn't see what you saw. That's just a fact of life sometimes.
Yeah, if you look real close, his knee's not actually touching. He's actually balanced really, really well on his other foot. Sir Adam 18 says there were, and the cams were working. Good.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. I think the locals think this is going to disappear out of the news cycle, but I think there's enough people upset about it that it'll stay in.
Yeah. Same thing I was being lied to about when I was told he was just out for an innocent jog. Oh, you think he went out for an innocent guy resting on my neck? All right. Cool. All the best to you with that belief, man. This is what I'm talking about, Jack. People like this. People like, well, because things have been wrong before. We have 10-minute video of this dude on his neck. 7.5 minutes worth of him on his neck. There is no excuse for that at all, period. And if you think there is a reason for that, you need to evaluate your life. This is a man who is completely defenseless, and you're leaning on his neck.
Sir, I will have you know there are many reasons to reevaluate my life decisions, not just one.
Fair enough. I got a stream to do here in a little over an hour, Jack.
I know. I was kind of surprised when you threw the link at me. I was like,
well, you know, this isn't even because I cut off Monkey in the Morning short. This is because I woke up to the same stupid shit I went to sleep to. And this rest of the story thing, the video had come out, the new video at the beginning where it shows, I mean, again, you know what he really looks like to me, Jack? If you've ever punished a kid, and whether it's you know, you're sending them to their room or whatever, or telling them they can't have something, Sometimes they'll throw this little fit where they slow walk instead of just going where, like, get your ass over here. And you can see him doing this in that video some, but that's the extent of the resistance. And like, there you go. There's your rest of the story. And then I still saw, I'm waiting for the rest of the story. Like, fuck you. Fuck you. You're just looking for a way to have the criminal be deserving of death.
Yeah.
I highly recommend to people like you, Midnight, check out the Muslim faith. I feel you're really going to like their view on criminals and how to treat.
I think the problem Midnight's having with this is that it's becoming a racial thing. And I don't think race has anything to do with this case at all. There are too many people trying to push it that way, but I think this is just straight up, they killed that guy, and it has nothing to do with the fact that he's black, but we're going to get the same kind of crap as with Trayvon Martin and Michael Brown, where they deify him, and no matter what, they're not going to look past that narrative. Yeah, the cops were in the wrong, but not for that reason. And we need to get away from that because that's a bunch of bullshit.
No, apparently cops are never wrong if there's a black man involved, I guess. I don't know. The people who are making it about race, as I said on all sides, Jack, need to shut the fuck up. There's nothing to suggest this has anything to do with race. I even saw some people claim the only reason this is an issue is because it's a black man. Like, it's an issue because they killed him right there on tape. If you don't think that's an issue, you're an issue. I mean, they murdered him on video in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
If you don't think that's an issue, you're an issue.
Yeah, I just don't think it's I think they murdered him, but I don't think it was a racial reason.
No, neither do I. I don't think race played a part in it. And if race did play a part in it, we have no proof of that yet. None at all.
Yeah. You know, maybe it'll come out that there was some sort of past beef between this cop and this guy, but I don't know. I don't think there's any justifiable reason for what happened.
There's not. Nobody can. I've asked several. Okay, Midnight, you're the newest one up on Monkeys Looking for Your Reason. Give me a reason, any reason at all, that makes it okay for a man who is bound, hands behind his back, laying on his belly, to have a cop choke him with his knee to the back of his neck for 7.5 minutes. Any reason at all. Go.
Real quick, thank you, Pete, for the donation. It's very generous of you. I appreciate it. No message was attached, but thanks, man.
And yeah, exactly, Chemo. There's no justification for what we saw here. None. Period. Non-compliant. It's okay to choke a man to death for non-compliant. Okay, what was he not complying with? He's laying on his... Well, I will say this, Jack. At the beginning of the video, if you watch the full thing, the 10-minute video, the cops are telling him to get in the car. And he says, I can't because you're on me. They say, get in the car. And he says, I will. And they still never get up. Never even give him the chance to comply. Retarded, man. Sorry, dude. That's fucking retarded. But I did see he just called me a white savior again. So I'm happy with that. I've got my white savior complex back. You can't see it, but I have my hands up in victory. Jack, I believe we're going to wrap up here. Like I said, we do have Lords of the Night coming up in an hour and 20 minutes, guys, right here on this channel. This one had to be separate because it was going to be longer. Hopefully we can get into more news because I'm tired of talking about this already.
Yeah.
I've said my piece and we'll be moving on. I mean, like I said, if people ask me questions, I'll be happy to answer, but it's not going to be long form this way because, I mean, unless something else breaks in the case, what more is there to say? We all saw the video. We all know what happened. And if you can make excuses for that, I don't see how. I really don't. I think you should probably evaluate your life.
All I know is that I'm waiting to see what the reptilians had to gain from this.
I told you it was the aliens, man. There was an alien up on this. Oh, did you see the SpaceX thing got canceled?
Yeah, I was pissed. I was watching that live. I wanted to watch it go up.
Nah, see, this is the aliens. They were down here. They were trying to get back up into space. And if they would have launched at that time, they would have been revealed. They were here to make that white cop not get off that poor black man's neck. And they were trying to get back home, and they got to keep that separate still. So Saturday, guys, SpaceX going up. Hopefully. Saint Monk the Savior. That's what I am, man. Guys, thanks for watching. Thank you so much for the donations. You guys are very, very generous. Jack, is there anything you'd like to shill today?
I'll throw a link to my latest video in, and thank you guys for the donations. You guys are awesome. I really, really appreciate it.
Do you guys have comic book curation tonight?
We should on Polydub's channel. Don't know what time, but watch for the tweet.
All right.
It'll probably be close to midnight. I don't know.
Guys, I'm still trying to get my satellite working to where I can game, and it's really, really pissing me off. So I apologize. I still haven't had one go up. I can't play anything until that gets working because my internet's just not good enough without it. But we will be right back here, 9 p.m. Eastern time for Lords of the Night. And if I can get my game stream going, probably after that, we'll do that. And then Monkey in the morning eventually. So thanks for watching, guys. Thank you for the donations. Jack, thank you for coming and hanging out. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.